Good morning. It's the Call Flow Radio Show, and you're on the air.
So in the studio today, as I said, we have Jordan Miles, District 4 Supervisor. He comes in, lets us know what's going on in the district, and we're glad to have him. We will open up the phone lines in a bit, but we'll give Jordan a chance to tell us what's going on. So, hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, Larry. How are you?
Good. Use the front.
Oh, this side right here?
Yeah,
oh, okay. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. That was my fault, man.
Oh, no worries at all.
Had the wrong mic on.
It's good to be back. It's beautiful weather outside. Life is good, isn't it?
It is. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah. Thank you. So I will start off. Of course, I'm happy to take any questions as we kind of meander through some updates that I have. I appreciate the invitation on behalf of WFLO, and of course, my views do not reflect that of the radio station, nor of the show, nor of the board. These are my these are Jordan Miles, supervisor for the Maysville election district statements and opinions. So I just wanted to clarify that. But we do have our quarterly town hall meeting coming up. That is tomorrow, Saturday, at the Dillon McDonald's from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. They're on 15 at the Route 15 and Route 20 intersection there, right beside Farmers Bank and the Tiger Fuel there, again from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. I'm calling it Breakfast in the Budget because that's essentially what we're going to focus on for folks who want to stop by and grab a cup of coffee and sit down and chat with me a little bit. Our board chairman, Joe Chambers, is going to stop by, as is a school board member, Joey Goodman, and Chris Hucks, who is a traveling expert in the medical field. He's a physician's assistant. I'm sorry, he's actually a nurse practitioner. He's going to stop in just to talk about healthcare in rural areas, such as what we and talk about some of the challenges we face. Again, 10 a.m. to 12 noon tomorrow at McDonald's in Dillon. Also wanted to touch on a few other matters, and of course take some calls with regards to the chaos that's been going on with our voter registration office and the electoral board. I would encourage you, if you want to update, pick up a copy of today's Farmville Herald and turn to the opinion page, and I've got a column there that sort of lays out the lay of the land in terms of my opinion on what's been going on. But I can't comment too awful much with pending litigation, Larry. We do have another court hearing coming up on with regards to my Freedom of Information Act requests. That's coming up on Tuesday, June the 6th at 10 a.m. in Buckingham Circuit Court. It is open court, so if anyone would like to attend, they certainly can. Again, that's this coming Tuesday, June the 6th at 10 a.m. And just to summarize a little bit, the past several months have been very chaotic. As I alluded to, my Freedom of Information Act request, which essentially is asking for asking the government, local, state, or federal level, anyone can do this as long as you're a resident of the Commonwealth of Virginia, for documents that are public documents. That's the beauty of the FOIA Act, the Freedom of Information Act. And I would encourage anyone, if you do want to, maintain and make sure that your government at any level is open and honest, ask for public documents to be examined. I mean, this is the people's government, and it should be open government. This is the United States of America. It's not Russia, not China. We shouldn't have anything to hide,
right?
Unless it's shielded by personnel or something like that, sensitive document. But anyway, my run-of-the-mill requests for public documents, like meeting minutes, meeting notices, that kind of thing. I filed 2 requests for open documents. Both of them were just beyond the pale, bungled by the ex-registrar, who was fired about 18 days in, being the interim director of elections and the registrar. So following this, interestingly enough, the leader of this chaotic small faction that's just been wreaking havoc on our elections office nominated him and his wife to be on the electoral board, and the Republican chair gets to nominate 3 people. The judge picks one, so the Republican chair nominated the fired registrar, his wife, interestingly enough, and the founder and a founder of the militia group in the county, and also who just happens to be an election denier. The judge in my estimation, didn't seem really happy with those nominations, so he set a hearing on the nominees and summoned those 3 people along with the Republican Party chair to show up in open court for some questions. Well, that kind of took care of that issue, in that the names were withdrawn and the judge said no hearing. So I am told now that 3 alternate names were put forward by the Republican Party chair, and excuse me, and the judge has made an appointment. I'm not sure who that is, but I am happy to hear that depending on who the person is, and of course I don't know who is appointed by the judge, but hopefully it's someone who does believe in open and free and fair elections. And now the electoral board has been made whole with its 2 Republican and 1 Democratic committee members, and they can move forward with the most important task, and that is hiring a permanent registrar. And ads are out. Ads are in publicly posted places like the Farmville Herald and other venues. And that's the most important job that the electoral board, besides overseeing open and free elections, can have, and that's hiring a permanent registrar, a director of elections, and they need to have this person in place by the 1st of July, which is only 1 month away. So the electoral board does have its work cut out for them. So I just wanted to add that as well. You know, Larry, and just interestingly enough, Buckingham County never had all these problems until January of 2023, when some election deniers and some other people, some small but loud conservative voices, came and took control of the Buckingham County Republican Party, and it ran off the registrar and her staff and election workers. And what it comes down to is look, as a Democrat, I certainly understand and acknowledge that, hey, we live in a conservative area that elects Republicans on the state and federal level. I certainly acknowledge that, and that's the lay of the land, and that's the prerogative of the people. Mm-hmm. What my issue is that the manner in which we go to vote, the manner in which we have the integrity of our elections, and no matter what the outcome is, as long as the elections are fair, free, and open, and one person, one vote, that's all we're asking for. You know, this is not a Republican versus Democrat issue. We've been saying that the whole time. This is a right versus wrong issue, and we don't have these issues here. This is not Georgia. This is not any other state where you do have serious concerns. So these issues are just unfounded, and it's ridiculous. And so hopefully that this lawsuit that I filed as a private citizen, not as a member of the Board of Supervisors, and you know, I have my own attorney. I'm paying their fees and that kind of thing. Hopefully that'll slow them down a little bit, because really the main thing that needs to happen, besides hiring a competent registrar and director of elections, is that the electoral board and the new registrar need to gain back the trust and confidence of the people of the county to have poll workers and have faith in them that they can do the job and have an open and free election in November. So that's kind of where that is. So I'm again happy to take any calls to the point which I can answer questions with regards to my lawsuit. But anyway,
let me give them the number there. It's 434-394-0924. If you want to ask Jordan a question or have a comment, please give us a call. This is the Call Flow Show.
That's right. Always a pleasure, too. And just on that note, since you mentioned a telephone number, Brightspeed, which is a.k.a. CenturyLink, which is a.k.a. dead telephone lines, many people across the spectrum in my district have been affected by the constant outages brought on in recent weeks by Brightspeed and their contractors from small businesses. I had a message yesterday morning from a small business in the Route 15 corridor there who, the phones have been in and out, internet's been in and out, to an older adult day before yesterday who's got a very sick loved one, and if their phone does not work or their home phone does not work, they have to drive from the courthouse clear about 1.5 miles up the road to the high school track where the high school is to get a cell phone reception.
Wow.
to get 2 or 3 bars to make a call.
Uh-huh.
It is ridiculous. And so anyway, Brightspeed and their contractors are rehabbing and improving their infrastructure, and I applaud them for doing that, but I really don't applaud the way they're going about it. I mean, certainly this, I can understand one cut line, maybe something like that, maybe
right.
even 2, but all these outages are they're just out of control. It is a health and safety issue, especially when someone who is ill or someone who relies on their telephone for doctor's appointments, for family check-ins, that kind of thing. Not everyone has a cell phone. I mean, we have cell phones. I have one on my hip most of the time, but not everyone is able to work a cell phone, has the ability to answer it, to get to their cell phone quickly, and they rely on these house phones. And the other thing is these small businesses who serve the public, who have to put food on the table for their family, when their phone and their email's not working, they can't do any business hardly. So I just want to highlight that it's been an ongoing issue since CenturyLink got bought out by Brightspeed and Lumen and all these other names. And it got so bad last month that 911 was down in the county.
No way.
Yeah, and I mean it wasn't down that long, but still, again, I just hope
Are they
I
adding?
can't say enough about how Brightspeed has got to understand that this is a health and safety issue, and I really do think in my heart of hearts, because this is a rural area where we don't have a lot of people, they don't, frankly, give as much of a damn as they do Richmond or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just an insult to rural areas that these telephone and internet companies act like they don't care about us.
Are they actually installing new lines or something, or
They
know
are.
what's actually that's what's causing the outages? Is the
Where there are these cuts that are happening, I'm told by the Brightspeed people, and I asked yesterday for an update, and the gentleman told me with Brightspeed he's going to get with his local team, and I haven't heard from him. But anyway, it is a true health and safety issue, especially with older adults and those who are in poor health. But also, most, if not all, the students are out of school now, and so they're at home. They have hobbies that involve the internet and telephones, but mostly the internet. And when the internet goes out, they're done too. So it really does affect all age groups, and especially if you're continuing to learn online, if you're working from home, if you're doing school online, that kind of thing, or any studies of any kind, you're out of commission when your internet doesn't work and when you don't have a dial tone.
Well, and the worst thing I can imagine is 2 teenagers without internet.
Exactly. I'm sure mom and dad staying at home really love that when they can't play their game.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I do plan on contacting the State Corporation Commission next week about this issue, and hopefully they can look into it. I don't know if they need to investigate or not, but they need to do something. And I will continue to closely monitor the situation there. So again, it's an issue that just really riles me. Anytime people are paying their bills every month, but yet they're not getting the service that they need and deserve. So, moving forward, we did adopt our $67 million budget recently, which we'll talk more about tomorrow. If you want to come to our town hall, we'll be eating breakfast in the budget again, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Dillon McDonald's. It's a very healthy, I'd say progressive and fiscally conservative budget, I would say. It's one I'm proud of to have worked with my fellow supervisors on. We made great investments in public education, law enforcement, emergency services, our public library, and many more needed core services for our constituents and for the public, from older adults to school-age children. It does return, our budget does reflect a tax rate on real estate that does return to our pre-pandemic real estate tax rate of 55 cents per $100 instead of 52 cents. And again, I would maintain that even though we did go up 3 pennies, back to the pre-2020 levels, 55 cents per $100 of assessed value is really one of the lowest tax rates in the Commonwealth. If not in the top, and the top 10 lowest, I would argue. But anyway, if you do want to hear more about that, you are more than welcome to come and sit and have a cup of coffee with me on Saturday. So, I do know one issue that I'd like to touch on is the gold bond matter, and I know you've had some calls about that, rightly so, and it's something that people do need to keep on their radar, especially those people living up in that community or people who are interested in the matter and their health and safety with regards to living in Buckingham. As I stated, Larry, it's very much been on my mind. I've been monitoring the questions and the inquiries and the statements before made by the Planning Commission, which is where this issue is. It's in the hands of the Planning Commission, which has been, as I stated, and continues to study the Board of Supervisors' task. I do want to thank the Planning Commission for their hard work as they continue to labor in terms of hours of listening, dedication, and studying the issue, because it's not easy at all. I mean, this is the result of the state study that I and many others were on that found that the Commonwealth of Virginia simply does not have the regulatory framework to handle a gold mine, and so
that's a rather large brochure there.
It is,
like I think 2 inches thick.
I think probably an acre of trees had to be fallen to print all these studies out. But at any rate, if you haven't read that study, I would, especially the recommendations and the conclusions, I would encourage you to do that. You probably don't have time to read the whole study, but at least read the recommendations and the conclusions.
What do you think? Well, when do you think that this might be finalized, one way or the other?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So we submitted it several months ago to the Planning Commission for study, which is part of this Planning Commission's job is to study land use issues, and this I would submit is a land use issue. The Code of Virginia states that if 120 days pass between the passing the football off, for the lack of a better term, to the Planning Commission, if they don't take any action within that 120-day window, then it automatically comes back to the board.
Oh,
so
interesting.
So yeah. So at any rate, I am hoping it doesn't come to that. I'm hoping that that the Planning Commission will continue to study this issue and send us a recommendation. And quite frankly, it probably will not look like exactly what we tasked them to do. It's going to look different. Frankly, I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but I'm sure it'll have some semblance to the request that we sent to them. And again, they are studying this issue, and it's going to be interesting to see what they come back with. So, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was more clearing my throat.
Yeah, and just a few other minor issues is that I heard from Dominion Energy recently, and they're encouraging people to get hurricane ready, and no matter what cooperative you're on, if it's Southside Electric Cooperative, Dominion Energy, CVAC, Central Virginia Electric Cooperative, go online or give them a call as to resources to get hurricane ready, because it is supposed to be a rough hurricane season from the reports I've heard. And
yeah, I haven't been here very long, and so. What does a bad hurricane season look for?
Lots of storms and having one heck of a hurricane.
I mean, last year just a slight breeze would bring trees down in the road over on Rains Tavern and stuff like that. So
it just depends if it's been raining and the ground is very saturated, and then some wind comes, you know, you're going to have fallen trees and down power lines. So, but at any rate, just always be ready for a power outage, you know, for something like that. And then of course you can go online to whatever electric cooperative or Dominion Energy that you pay your light bill to, and see what resources they have. Also, the Virginia Department of Transportation, if you haven't noticed, they are mowing the secondary routes, so use caution if you're using our beautiful byways and highways, especially the back roads. VDOT is cutting the right-of-ways, and I really do appreciate them doing that, because instead of the deer or whatever popping out at you, you can see the deer before they're coming and things like that too. So, and of course, any VDOT-related issues in the Maysville voting district, please do let me know. You can bring those to me tomorrow as well, if you'd like. Also, our recent spring anti-litter cleanup, we saw 268 bags of litter picked up off of the VDOT right-of-way, which is nice. We're now at picked up more than 1,220 bags since the Buckingham Anti-Litter Task Force was rejuvenated. This most recent anti-litter pickup, our spring pickup, saw St. Thomas Aquinas coming in first place. They picked up hundreds of bags. And then, of course, Conite Mining Corporation, as an aside from this campaign, they do their own, and they picked up like well over 300 bags this past spring. So Conite is a great corporate partner to Buckingham County in terms of what they do and the investments and the jobs that they've created for Buckingham County. So that's kind of all I have this morning, and of course, if you want to open it up at after your bottom of the hour business you have, Larry, be happy to do that.
Perfect. That's a perfect timing, and I think that's what we'll do. Let's see here. This edition of The Weather is brought to you by the Bank of Charlotte County.
Hello, I'm Stuart Wilborn, manager of the Bank of Charlotte County Loan Office in downtown Farmville. With over 30 years of banking experience, I'm here to help you finance your commercial, agricultural, or personal project. Give us a call at 391-1136 or stop by our downtown office at 216 North Main Street, where you'll find old-school personal assistance with attention to detail. The Bank of Charlotte County, giving you more for your banking needs. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Thank you, Stuart. The temperature is 62 out there, and the humidity is 90%, with the winds being calm, and the barometer at 29.98. It says today it's going to be sunny with a high of 87 and mostly clear overnight with a low of 58. On Saturday it's going to start out sunny, but there's a 50% chance of showers later, or thunderstorms later on, but it is going to get up to 87. Overnight, a chance of thunderstorms with a low of 54. On Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 75. It looks like a beautiful day. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low of 52. Monday, sunny, 82. Monday night, partly cloudy, 58. And Tuesday, following suit, it is 82 degrees. So the Bank of Charlotte County, with branch locations in Phoenix, Charlotte Courthouse, Brook Neal, and their offices downtown Farmville. Which brings us to the calendar is birthday calendar is brought to you by Terry Atkins Wilson PC.
The law office of Terry Atkins Wilson PC is located at 117 North Main Street in downtown Farmville. With deep roots in Farmville and our surrounding communities, Terry and her legal staff specialize in real estate law, wills and trusts, business formations, and collections. Experience and professionalism are extended to every customer in every case. The needs and concerns of every customer are their primary focus. If you have legal needs, contact the law office of Terry Atkins Wilson PC for a consultation at 434-392-1422.
Thank you, John. Today, Friday the 2nd, I don't have any birthdays to announce, but we do have some birthdays on Saturday. The 3rd, Sloan Kenke, Carol Hagman, Jordan Robert Ledger, and JKG. Happy birthday to all those people having a birthday tomorrow on Saturday. And on Sunday, we have quite the list. Tyler Spencer, Judy Azil, Tony Staler, Kelia Crater, William and Angela Stewart are having an anniversary on the 4th, and Alice Hammonds. So we wish all those people a happy birthday and a happy anniversary. We're hoping you have a great time. It is going to be a beautiful weekend to do that. So it is time to open up the lines for calling and asking Jordan Miles some questions about what he just talked about or other concerns you might have. The number is 434-394-0924. This is your opportunity to ask Jordan some questions. Until then, I'll ask you some questions.
Throw me some low balls, because I'm sure the curve balls might come. Well, just kidding. You can ask me any questions.
You put out so much there that it was like, I wanted to interject, but I didn't want to. But now I don't remember exactly all the stuff that I was going to ask you. Too. But, well, let's see. Where to begin? I guess it's just obviously the big thing is making all the news and all the controversy is this lawsuit and the registers and all that. And you gave me some information that I didn't really have before. Just the dynamics of how it got to be how it is right now. So the question sort of is it a movement towards something like that, or is that just kind of a reflection of what's happening in the rest of our country, which is just so volatile? And I guess the question that I would ask you, are you getting a lot of feedback and slack for being a Democrat?
That's a great question. Not really, no. I mean, certainly that's a piece of low-hanging fruit that people can use as a label, which I don't really like. I mean, people, when it comes to the issues, everyone wants to stick a label on somebody or something, whether you're pro or anti, whether you're red or blue or Democrat or a Republican. You know, I'm Jordan Miles first and foremost.
Thank you.
I'm a Christian. You know, I mean, all these things. You know that I can tell you about myself, or people who know me quite well can tell you about me. But just a label of being a Democrat, even in public service, does not define what I'm about and who I am. I've taken many stances that are conservative. I've taken many stances that are more progressive and more liberal. So no, and you know, I would hope that people wouldn't define, especially at the local and state level. But the state level is getting more like the federal level, unfortunately, which is more divisive and no more middle of the road and no more being moderate and compromising and things like that. But no, not really. I mean, people. I think locally, you know, though I identify politically most of the time with what I consider more of a moderate Democrat, you know, that's not the label that I wear on my forehead. You know, I'm a human being. You know, I make my choices on not on behalf of what I think what is right for the party, but is right for my constituents. You know, I mean, so no.
Well,
but that's a good question, though.
Well, you bring out something. It's a huge spectrum.
It is.
You know, from left to right. And the radicals on both sides are the ones that are screaming the loudest.
That's exactly
what
right.
I'm seeing is that is the melting down into the people who are in the middle, where it's a black-white issue. You know, it's just, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, and so you must believe all these things and in these people. And I guess what my point would be, the only people who can change it is us. You know, we're the only people who can actually go, all right, I'm not going to insult somebody because of what their, you know, affiliation is. Or, hey, maybe I'll learn something from this person. Because diversity is what makes this whole country fantastic in the first place.
Right, and just, you know, there's an art to it, Larry. You have to learn to agree to disagree, but don't be disagreeable, and don't be an obstructionist, and don't try to stop everything and just rattle. You know, it's this, yeah.
It's a strange time to be alive right now. I didn't ever think that this is how it would come to this type of thing, but I think a lot of people are at a point where it's broken and there's no way we can fix it. So what do we do? Do we just blow it all up and start over? And if we do that, what does that really mean?
I don't think you do that. I just think people need to just use some common sense and, you know, understand that there's moderation and just about everything and every issue, and just understand. Listen, we can do more together than we can apart. So don't ostracize yourself into some small faction, that kind of thing.
So is Virginia considered a blue state?
It depends. I mean,
where you're at.
Well, it depends. No, not well. It just depends on the pendulum swings back and forth. You know, I mean, we had a Democrat as governor for 4 years, and now we have a Republican. It just depends on what's going on. Depends on the economy. Depends on what's going on in D.C. There are so many factors. I would say to you, I think Virginia is more of a purple state. In that, it just depends on what's going on. I mean, we have a lot of federal influence with the service industry, and that's not the right term, but the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, that kind of thing in Virginia. So a lot of what happens in D.C. has a lot of effects on what happens in Virginia. We've got the Pentagon to the north. We've got an Air Force base in Virginia Beach. It just depends, and it also depends on the economy too. So
that's a good point. It almost always. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if nobody's going to call at 434-394-0924.
You let me off easy today. It is Friday,
man.
so
yeah, it's a lazy day. Maybe it's because the weather's so nice. Everybody just went
everybody's
outside.
outside.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, I greatly appreciate you coming in here, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
And I think the last piece is from 10 to 12 at Dillwyn McDonald's tomorrow if you'd like to talk to Jordan face to face. So
thank you as always.
My pleasure.
Have a great weekend.
Right on.
Thank you.
Always good to have Jordan in the house to tell us what's going on up in Buckingham or the District 4 area. At this stage, let's see what we got here. We have National Day, which is something I always like to do with Chris Woods, but she's not here today. I think they're hopefully getting ready to go on a vacation and have some fun out there at the beach. Well deserved with those two. And, of course, Fran and Chris could really use the cards and the encouragement. On a day-to-day basis, really, the things that change. But we're moving in the right direction. So this day is National Volkswagen Day. So I don't know how many people out there had Volkswagens as a kid, but I know a lot of people that I talked to did in my age because it was the thing to have and the thing to do. I remember taking a Volkswagen Bug up to the Grand Canyon. I lived in Prescott, Arizona, a little town right in the middle of the state. Kind of reminds me of Farmville quite a bit, actually. It's a very small town, very quaint, very cute, I guess. But it just, it feels a lot like what Farmville feels to me. I feel like I went in a full circle here, getting back to my roots. It's also National Rotisserie Chicken Day. So what can I say about rotisserie chickens? So, I buy my rotisserie chickens most of the time at Walmart because that's where I shop. And I have found that I can get amazing amounts of meals out of a single rotisserie chicken. Usually I eat the thighs and the legs first. And then I boil the whole carcass and get all that meat off the breast, and I just make that into a nice, spicy, shredded chicken. And I can eat on that for 3-4 meals. So it's a good thing. It's National Rotisserie Chicken Day. Yes. National Bubba Day. So I have no idea what Bubba is. What is Bubba Day? Let's see. National Bubba Day on June 2nd each year recognizes all those we lovingly call Bubba in our lives. The name may come from the way young children try to shorten the word brother. Now that makes sense. I don't know if I ever called anybody Bubba, but if somebody out there called somebody Bubba, maybe they could give us a call at 434-394-0924. It's starting to wonder if everybody out there is okay. All right. This is a lot going on. It is National Leave the Office Early Day. Now, everybody should get on board with that. If you haven't already, it would be awfully early to get out of work office early today, but why not? It's as good as any other day to get out of the office. Hey, Mr. John. Oh, John.
Mr. Larry, how are you?
I'm doing good. Did you hear that it's National Leave the Office Early today?
Okay, I'll see you later.
All right, bye-bye. I was saying, it's never too early to leave the office.
I don't know what that means. What are you referring to?
If on the weekend, closest day, that's a good thing.
This is leaving early business you're talking about.
Yeah, people need to leave early. People don't need to be so stressed out that they're just, tied up. And,
You mean like I am?
Yeah. So your shirt says, "Yo, bartender, Jobu?
Jobu.
Jobu needs a refill."
That's from Major League, one of my favorite baseball movies of all time. It's a comedy.
I like the little guy on there.
Yeah,
Is
Joe
he
Boo.
That's him?
That's Jobu.
Is he like a mascot?
For this one player that practices voodoo, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Why does he only have one leg? Oh, wait, no, that's an exclamation point.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's
It
all
looks
right.
a little bit like Einstein, honestly. I think it's the hair. Oh, so
Very bad to steal Jobu's rum.
That's
very
right.
bad.
That's right. It's National Donut Day. Can't go wrong with National Donut Day.
Oh, donut, yeah.
Do you like the donut?
I've been known to partake in a donut once in a while.
The donut. Yeah, I could use one right now, actually. So if anybody out there, at Walmart or something.
What type is your personal fave?
Oh, that's a tough one. I do love a good old-fashioned, and an old-fashioned with chocolate, even better. But I will go with the glazed,
Okay.
I actually had a job where I had to do donuts. Remember that commercial? It's time to
Yes.
do. Well, that's exactly how it is, man. You come on at midnight and you work till 8 in the morning.
That was my favorite one out of all those commercials where he meets himself at the door. He's leaving to go, but he's meeting himself coming back. Time to make the donuts. I've already made the donuts.
Oh, that was just terrible.
Little did I know as a kid watching that would be my life.
Yeah. Something to aspire to. You never know on these things. They planted little seeds in our
Yes.
little heads.
This is what's going to happen to you at some point.
I think I lasted 2 whole weeks at that one. But it's interesting. I learned something. In every job I've ever had, I learned something.
So when you make the donuts, do you actually put the hole in the Danish?
No.
You're not going to divulge any secrets here?
I can't tell you how that works. I signed an NDA. So sorry
Because
about
a flute without any holes is not a flute, and a donut without any holes is a Danish.
that. Okay.
And that's Caddyshack.
Little. I've learned something today. Something every day with John. I learned something.
Yeah. More useless information.
Oh, yeah. So it's also National Rocky Road Day, which is good. Do you like Rocky Road?
I've had it, yeah, it's not bad.
It used to be my favorite as a kid for times, and then it went to mint chip, and then it went to pralines and cream. Jamocha almond fudge. That's my favorite.
Yeah, you're really into it.
I love my ice
I
cream.
liked ice cream better when I was a kid. I don't eat it that much now.
Really?
Once in a while.
What
yeah.
about watermelon?
Never was a big fan of that.
Love the watermelon, yeah. Especially here. Something about watermelons in
They love it
Virginia
out here, yeah.
are nice. I'm looking for a good melon, actually. You're a bad man.
I didn't say a thing. You're the one that started laughing.
I did not. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, my goodness. What else do we have? I didn't really bring up anything today to talk about because I had...
You figured Jordan...
Yeah, you just got a call, had to go. So I'm going to have to look for a little something or another here.
Something.
50 things to do in...
Have you already done birthdays and all that?
I did.
Oh, good. I missed the boat. I mean, darn, I missed the boat on that.
Missed the boat. Missed the boat.
I don't like both.
Hey, I found something. We did this the other day. We did a lot of them, but maybe we could finish out the list of
All
50
right.
things to do. 50 Shades of Grey. Things to do in Virginia.
Okay.
We were talking a little bit about Virginia as a state, and I actually think that Virginia is a fascinating, amazing state.
Oh, that's interesting, you being an outsider and
I
everything.
know. Well, if it wasn't for the people, it would be fantastic. No, I'm kidding.
I think that can be said for just about any place.
But it has its areas, you know. You can go up near D.C. and, you know, I can even consider D.C. part of Virginia. You know, it's so close there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a whole different atmosphere, and that kind of carries all the way down into Charlottesville somewhat. But it's like the CIA and Langley and all that
all
stuff.
that's here, yeah.
It's amazing. And it's amazing how much TV I watch where it's filmed or referenced into Virginia. It's like 75% is what it feels like now. Maybe it depends on where you live, and they just interject that state motto stuff into it. Anyway, that all being said, let's see. I'm going to go up to Edith. Ooh.
Edith, die for yourself.
Norfolk Botanical Gardens.
I've heard of that.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if anybody else out there has gone there. It's got a beautiful picture of a bridge and the water running under it. Reminds me sort of D.C., but that looks cool. Have you ever done a botanical garden?
No, I have not.
Alrighty then. Edith J. Carrier Arboretum. I have never heard of this, and so I don't know what really the Edith Carrier Arboretum is about. It's among the top things to do in Virginia. Located in the Shenandoah Valley, Harrisonburg, on the campus of James Madison University.
Well, where I come from, the most exciting thing is to sit there and listen to the cars go over the, bell at the gas station. And
do they still have those?
No,
things?
I don't think so.
It's like, whoa. Can you imagine that job nowadays? You know, filling up people's cars and looking under the hood and everything. People be all mad at you for even coming close to them.
I would imagine so.
Don't touch my
self-serve
$100,000 pickup
They sold
truck.
that great. It's self-serve.
Yeah.
That means we can't afford to pay anyone to do this anymore. That's what it's short for.
There was a great show about that. It was a disguise. The gas station was a disguise for another business. I can't say it on the TV or on the TV.
Are we on television?
Oh my God.
Hi, Ma. Hi, Pa.
Mariners Museum. Ever heard of that?
It's like Submariner, the superhero?
Yeah, that's the one. They have a whole museum just for him.
You know his real name is Namor, right? Yeah, no, I think I have.
So how do you say this? Looks like Assateague.
Close enough. I'm not touching that one.
If anybody knows about Assateague. This is wrong. It's Friday. Sorry, folks. We mentally may have already checked out of the office today. It says so. This is an island, and it has a picture of a horse on there and looking at the water. It's 37 miles long, so it's perfect for a short trip, perhaps over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, but
that's what's wonderful about it.
George
of the jungle.
George, did you cut down that cherry tree?
Yes, I did. Pa needed some cherries. Mama's making a pie. Although George would have actually had more of a British accent.
Oh, George,
knock that off.
You could just pick the cherries.
George, leave the tree alone. The tree did nothing to you, George.
Have you ever been to his birthplace?
No, I have not.
National Monument?
No, at least I don't recall. If I did, I was so young, I don't remember it.
It's a nice little house, or not that little. But
right. I've seen the pictures,
all brick. And,
yeah.
It's almost timeless. I mean, you could live in that today, and you'd look like you were, rich.
Well, George didn't live in a shack. I mean, come on.
So Shenandoah National Park, what is that all about? I mean, what is there? Is it just like, is it known for its colors in the fall? Is it known for its fishing? I mean,
I would say all of the above.
It's just a beautiful place to go. There's probably a lot of campgrounds and stuff up in there.
I would imagine so.
You ever camped up there?
Not much of a camp guy.
Really?
Everybody wants to get back to nature. I just want to get back to the hotel.
Have you ever been?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so. I may. Like I said, I got dragged to stuff as a kid, and I might have partaked in some of this stuff and just don't remember it. I've successfully blocked it from
We basically we camped my childhood.
Okay. I remember doing it like a couple of times. I was never that, I don't know, it wasn't all that great
Yeah.
for me.
My son, I was going to take my son. Bought a trailer. He's going to take him. He can't stand bugs. I mean, they just drive him crazy.
Yeah, that could be the rub there. Yeah.
So all we got was like one night out in the parking lot. That's kind of funny because poor Jordan, he's standing there and his net is just like pinging all over his head.
Did he notice it?
Yeah, it was bugging the snot out of him, and I wasn't sure what to do.
I know what to do. You just flick it off.
Yeah, but it was on his nose. I could. It was like, I was like, oh no.
Radio DJ
Well, and then
flips off.
Then it makes me wonder where it came from. Are there more? I've never seen one in here before. Have you?
No, I don't think so.
Ow!
Got that one. All right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Catch fly with chopstick, accomplish anything.
My dad was a music teacher. He's a teacher, so he had 3 months off every year, which I thought that would
so
be
that
a
gave
fantastic.
you plenty of time to do stuff
Yeah.
like that.
He'd rented the house out a couple times too, and that was a disaster. They destroyed the house, but it was kind of it was this hippie couple. Anyway, I digress.
Oh well, man.
But yeah, we took this trailer.
house to ruin, man.
By the time I was 10 years old, I had been to almost every state in the United States, which is kind of cool. Well, most of them we drove through really fast.
You're a regular Clark W. Griswold is what you are.
Oklahoma, Texas, all those places.
Have you seen the world's second largest ball of yarn?
No.
Oh, okay.
Where's that?
I don't know.
They're all over the place. Yeah, for some reason, up on that plateau, you get up on the plateau, Arizona, New Mexico, there's a lot of those things because there's nothing else around there, like the biggest golf ball in history. I mean,
4.
and I wonder how these people make a living. They must have 100 people.
I've been to some tourist traps in my time. I remember when we go to Tennessee, we would do that when I was a kid. We'd go to Tennessee when I could talk them out of going to the beach.
Oh, you didn't like the beach?
Nah, not much. Not when I was a kid, anyway. I don't mind it so much now, but when I was a kid, I was...
Sorry, don't take this personally, but something's wrong with you.
No, I'm not denying that.
I love the beach. That's why I can't live without it.
Like I said, I don't mind it so much now. I think I've just sort of done a complete 360. When I was younger, I didn't. But there was all was it Pigeon Forge, Tennessee? There's not a lack of things to do. At least it used to be. I don't know what it's like now.
Pigeon Forge in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee's a beautiful state.
Yeah, I love Tennessee.
Yeah, I think most people do. We had good friends move there not too long ago. I lived in Millington in the Navy.
In the Navy.
I don't. Neither one of us know the rest of the word.
We want you. We want you.
The Great Falls Park.
Aha.
Do you know about Great Falls Park?
No, I don't.
I'm suspicious of them having falls. So I like falls. Yosemite is just gorgeous.
What? Get off my park. It's Yosemite Sam, the roughest, toughest hombre.
I worry about...
Have you ever been to the La Brea tar pits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
They're actually really cool.
Are they? Okay.
You're on the air.
Good morning. Look, I was thinking about that, those Assateague is the way you pronounce that. You know, that little place in Virginia. It's over on the Eastern Shore, I think.
Oh, okay.
So they swim. They have a pony swim over there. I think it's once every year, and you can go over there and you can watch them swim. They're wild ponies. They're raised out in the wild there, and they round these ponies up and they swim them back across. I think it's a tributary to the Chesapeake Bay or something in there, and then they load them up, and I think it's some kind of maybe it's contributed to a charity. You have to Google it, you know. That's kind of what's going on in Assateague.
I'm glad you told me that, actually. It looked like that kind of a place. And when we were in the Caribbean, we swam with the pigs there. And so this kind of reminds me of that, the horses. And my partner's favorite animal, her spirit animal, is a horse. So I suspect we're going to end up being there one of these days soon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, and thinking about, and I know you don't have much time left in your program, but Jordan Miles, I think about Jordan. Jordan and I attended the first Citizens Academy in Farmville. The police department did put on a Citizens Academy. Hey, that was a great thing. That really got me to see the police from a different perspective, you know.
Uh-huh.
And my goodness, we really need them. And Jordan and I were in that first, and Jordan was on a radio station. You know, I listened to him on the radio station a lot, and then we met in that Citizens Academy. It was a great thing. It really was. So, you know,
yeah,
kind of carried me from one perspective of the law to the right perspective.
You got it. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do they do that anymore? Or?
They did. They did it one time. You know, they tried to get it together a second time. I think they might have had a second time, and then they tried to get the first group back. You know, and do a police Citizens Academy number 2, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if that ever materialized. I was working at the hospital down in Farmville at the time.
So I have a question for you. What's your favorite, like, park or thing to do in Virginia?
Well, you know, you spoke of that Shenandoah National Park, and I was sitting here trying to figure out where that runs from, you know, but we have the whole Shenandoah Valley.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I used to go up around Buena Vista. I used to ride motorcycles a lot, and they had a Glenmore Park in Buena Vista. I guess that was one of the great things, events. The Virginia Motorcycle Association put it on, and riding that parkway, and you were talking about the parkway the other day, and I have ridden that whole parkway from one end to the other, all the way down Cherokee, North Carolina, you know, where you run into the Smoky Mountains.
Wow.
You know, used to motorcycle years ago, so. And Crabtree Falls, write that down, Crabtree Falls, because that's close. It's only about, say, an hour and a half from Farmville.
Perfect.
And that's one of the most beautiful rural places you'll go to.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You've given me actually a few things that I'm definitely going to go do. May not happen this weekend, but soon for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. If you like a laid-back atmosphere, and if you want to walk 2 miles up a mountain, up by the falls that comes over the mountain, go to Crabtree Falls. You'll be glad you did. And you can camp out there, whatever you want to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to try that out. Check it out.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. We got to wrap this up, so thank you, and hopefully you'll call again soon. Thanks.
Yeah, have a wonderful day.
We got a caller, woohoo! And a good caller, not just a caller, but a good caller. That was great. I appreciated that. We appreciate all you folks out there in Farmville, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. John's gonna come in here,
Take a nap.
and take a nap. So I will get out. I'll see you at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, and 11 o'clock, and 11 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. And 11 o'clock, 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 and 11 o'clock.